Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. NFL conversation like no other. We'll do it Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and he joins us now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. And if you're watching the show live on the live video stream, there's Jeff. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Everything is good. We are 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away, I guess, from the NFL draft, but a lot to dive into. But I want to get your take on something. Ron Jaworski was on Sunday morning here on 97.3 ESPN on our Locker Room show. He said this about the Eagles' offensive line situation. I want to get your take.
I don't think left tackle is a bigger problem than most people do. I look at the tape, and I thought, the guys played well at the left tackle position.
All right, left tackle position. Your thoughts on that? He says, I watched the tape. I don't think they have a problem at left tackle.
I honestly don't think they have a problem at left tackle either. I mean, Jordan Mailata is more than capable of starting on about 20 NFL teams right now. If you look at the left tackle situation for the Eagles, I would probably rank them maybe between 8th and 12th, and that's really good considering how little good left tackles there are in this league. So we're going around here. I would rank Jordan Mailata probably about 13 through 15, which, again, that isn't bad considering he's only played, about 12 to 16 games in his career thus far. I think he's more than capable of getting better. He's only 23 years old. He's going to get better as time goes on. And you still have Andre Dillard as a capable backup. So in my mind, left tackle isn't an issue for the Eagles at all.
Yeah, I'm interested in that whole battle. If I'm Philly, so my question for you, Jeff, is on draft day at 12, let's say things don't go your way, and like Rashawn Slater's the guy on the board, and the two corners are gone, the three receivers are gone. Do you take the offensive lineman, or do you say, no, we got a pretty solid offensive line here? Let Dillard and Mailata battle at the left tackle. I know I got some injuries and some age, but if those guys are healthy, this unit's pretty good. Do you look at the line at 12 if things don't go your way in the first 11 picks?
Are we assuming Micah Parsons is gone too?
No, he would be there.
I would take Micah Parsons.
You think they would do that?
I don't think they'll do it, but they should do it. I'm trying to be smart here. When I do all these mock drafts, I try to make the best possible pick for teams, and Micah Parsons is the best possible pick for them. They don't have that many linebackers outside of Eric Wilson, and I mean, really, they don't have anything outside of him and Singleton. It's we all know what their third round pick from last year is. It's how bad is it that I forget his name? The kid from Colorado,
Davion Taylor.
Davion Taylor, that's it. See, that's how little I know about Davion Taylor. I don't even know his name. It's actually really bad.
He wasn't very memorable.
No, I think he played like 4 total snaps the entire year. He wasn't good on special teams when he played. It was just not a good situation for them. So I would take Micah Parsons at 12.
Yeah.
But it's hard to pass on a Rashad Slater or a Christian Darrisaw there if they're there, because they could be franchise left tackles for you. And if you don't think Jordan Mailata is the answer, a guy you traded to get into the 7th round for a couple years ago, and you spent all this time, why not? But at the same time, we have to look at this rationally here. The Eagles do not have a problem at left tackle. If anything, they may have an abundance of left tackles, and they may trade one of them. Maybe Andre Dillard's the guy they trade.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to close the book on Dillard either. I mean, I don't have much information on Dillard. I mean, from all accounts, in training camp last year, Jeff, they liked what they saw from Dillard enough to say, you're the guy. Jason Peters, we're not even going to think about putting you back there because Dillard, we liked him enough. So I don't think it's fair to write him off either. So I have no problem with them saying, Dillard, Mailata, you are battling for left tackle. And I am certainly, when I have the opportunity to draft this high, I am certainly not going to take it and say, I want a third tackle in that left tackle battle.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with it if they decide to do that. But again, you would have to trade a guy like Andre Dillard if you're going to draft a left tackle. And here's the thing, if they do draft a tackle, I'm thinking the future of Lane Johnson here. How long is Lane Johnson going to be healthy? He says he's healthy. He says he's going to be good to go.
He told me he wants to play till he's 40.
Yeah, and he can. I'm not going to deny that, but Ryan also wanted to play that long too, and we saw how quickly he declined after 2008 with the Eagles. He went with the Chargers for 1 year, and that was it. And he went to play for a long time. Jason Peters is basically playing until he's 40. I'm not against it. That just seems like too much of a. I don't even want to say a risk because it's a safe pick, but it's a risk for them because they're a bad football team. But that's one of the positions they're strong at. I think their offensive line is actually a lot better than people give it credit for.
And Jaws, one of the things he said in that conversation was, if healthy, Brooks and Johnson, if they come back healthy, that you go from having a disastrous offensive line to having one of the best offensive lines in football all of a sudden. And, Jeff, if you end up having a good offensive line, don't the fortunes of the team change pretty quickly?
Yeah, all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts doesn't have to run for his life, and he doesn't have to do these one-read moves where, I'm going to take off because I got whoever blocking in front of me. You got an all-pro and Jason Kelsey, who's a borderline Hall of Famer, and you got Brandon Brooks, arguably the best right guard in football when he's healthy. You got Lane Johnson there. That's a pretty good right side of the offensive line. Oh, by the way, let's not forget Isaac Seumalo, who is actually a pretty good left guard. He's turned into a decent player.
Yeah.
Jeff Stoutland as your offensive line coach, I got to believe they're going to develop Jordan Mailata. I got to believe they're going to develop Andre Dillard. Why mess with it? If you do anything in this draft with offensive line, you get depth.
Well, Jeff, I bring this up a couple times, but I want to get your take on it. The fact that, they had that disastrous year in 2012. The line had 4 starters hurt. Chip Kelly gets hired. He gets those linemen back. They draft Lane Johnson. They go from 4 wins to 10. Could a good offensive line spring that kind of turnaround?
In this division, it can, because the NFC East, let's face it, they're not any good. And the Eagles need their offensive line.
They're getting better.
Yeah, they need everybody on deck because you got that Washington up front. I call them a front seven, but I guess Ryan Kerrigan's gone now. But you still have Chase Young to worry about. You got Montez Sweat. You got Deron Payne. You got Jonathan Allen. You have a lot of guys to worry about on that Washington front. So you need all those guys healthy. Dallas, I think they're really going to miss Aldon Smith as a football player. It seems like Aldon Smith's in trouble right now, but
he just signed with Seattle, right?
Yeah, he did, but now I guess he's in trouble with the whole. He's won it in Louisiana for something. I didn't even get into the full details of that, but yeah, Dallas is going to miss him as a football player because he was their most productive defensive end last year. Then you got the Giants, who. This is the team I really don't want to get Micah Parsons, even though I know they're going to, because they already have a really good defense, and you add him into the mix. Patrick Graham's going to be an NFL head coach someday. So, yes, you need this offensive line fully healthy. This is your one chance to kind of take back a couple wins in the NFC East. That's why I think the over-under for the Eagles is 7, according to William Hill, because they're in a terrible division.
Yeah, I mean, Washington's interesting. The defense is really good. They have a quarterback who – can win games with Fitzpatrick. I'm very interested to see what they do at 19. Do they try to move up and get a quarterback? Do they stick there and get that second, level of wide receiver, the Bateman, like that next group? They're a very intriguing team for me on draft day. And you just said the Giants. The Giants are a team that their defense was solid last year, but they didn't have that standout player. If they get a Parsons, that defense becomes kind of interesting. So I think the teams in the NFC East, and then Dak Prescott's back, that changes the dynamic. So the NFC East is getting more interesting.
It is. And to me, I got Dallas winning the division right now as of, April 19th, because Dak Prescott is their quarterback, and I don't trust Daniel Jones. I trust Ryan Fitzpatrick to an extent, but he is 39 years old. I didn't know this today. Ryan Fitzpatrick has more career rushing yards than Alex Smith. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I was looking up career rushing yards for quarterbacks when I was doing Alex Smith, and I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick's name pop up ahead of him. So that's kind of weird. But, yeah, I don't trust him. I don't trust him all the time, I should say. I probably trust him more as a backup. Daniel Jones, I don't know what the Giants see in him. I just don't think the guy's any good.
Well,
I think they're.
Could they surprise everybody at 11 then if there's a quarterback there and say, you know what, we didn't think there would be one here, but there's one here, so we'll take him?
I'll laugh. I'll be on this feed and just laugh if the Giants take a quarterback because they have full confidence in Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is going to be the next great quarterback. And according to Dave Gettleman, and if they do that, that just shows you how much faith they truly have in the guy. I really think they're just going to load up at the skill positions and basically say, we're going to give you, this is your final chance. We're going to give you all these players because you didn't have anybody last year. Golden Tate was supposed to be your go-to receiver, and he was terrible for them. They still had Darius Slayton. They got Kenny Golladay. They're probably going to have to add another receiver. Evan Ingram, I don't know how he made the Pro Bowl last year, but he did. So I don't think he's good. Really, if there's any team, we're talking about offensive line, there's any team that needs to add an offensive lineman right now, it's the New York Football Giants. They need one in the worst way.
Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports NFL writer, covers the NFL. When you look at Jalen Reagor, I know I'm not saying that you've made a decision on him, but if you had to, somebody said, Jeff, tell me what Jalen Reagor is. Can he play or no?
I say he can play. I honestly think he can play. I thought he could play from week 1 last year when he caught that bomb from Carson Wentz, and Wentz missed him on a couple other passes early in the year. But if we remember correctly, that thumb injury was from an errant Wentz ball, and that kind of slowed his whole rookie season. And we didn't have OTAs. We didn't have training camp. I didn't think that was that great for a rookie with no preseason. And he kind of came in there and look, I think Doug Peterson wasn't creative enough with him. I think that was part of the problem. So to me, I think as of right now, I think the kid can play. I think Jalen Reagor's got a lot of speed. I think Nick Sirianni is going to use him to, pretty much his skill set. He can catch a lot of short passes, bubble screens. I see a lot of them in Jalen Reagor's future. I see him going downfield. Is he a number 1 receiver? No, I don't think he's going to be that. I think you need to add one of those top 3 receivers with him. But Jalen Reagor could be a number 2 in this offense, and Jalen Hurts has a little bit of a connection with him. Look, that first-round pick isn't going to be as bad as everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I am intrigued by Reagor. I thought, he was in a tough spot last year with the injury. You talked about the lack of OTAs. Everybody had the lack of OTAs, but it didn't help that you had that, and then you got hurt, started late. And by the way, the quarterback was horrific last year. I want to ask you this, and we'll get out on this tonight. Jeff will be back on Wednesday. We'll do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at this time. Talk NFL. We'll spin around the league. We'll do a lot of NFC East. We'll do a lot of league stuff. But how much the Eagles needed to scale back and simplify the offense for 2 reasons. One, the constant shuffling of the offensive line, and how bad Carson Wentz was last year.
I think they had to go to a basic offense, something they would probably do in April and May. They were doing in November and December because that's how bad Wentz was. And this is why I got so upset with the whole Wentz thing. That Cleveland game, he should have been benched. Bottom line, it just wasn't working out. And when you got a guy back there and Jalen Hurts, I just didn't like how they went back to square one with him and just didn't work out. Bottom line, with all the reshuffle on the offensive line, and look, I'll defend Carson Wentz on this. He had like 12 different offensive line combinations in the first 13 weeks of the season. I get that. I understand that. But he's also a fifth-year quarterback. He shouldn't be turning the football over as much as he has. He lost complete confidence in his ability to throw the football. Once Travis Fulgham teams started covering him, Carson was like, that's it. I'm done. So you're worried about that. You had to reshape pretty much everything on your offensive line. Zach Ertz was playing terrible.
Are you a believer in Fulgham?
Yeah, I need to see more. I honestly do. I think he's not as good as the 5-game stretch he showed, but he's not as bad as he showed the rest of the year. I think he is a project. I think he's a guy that in 2021, a rebuilding year for them, you play him. I don't understand the whole Doug Peterson. I'd love to pick Doug Peterson's brain on this. Did this guy just not try? Did he just not practice hard? Did he think his crap didn't stink? I don't know. That's what I want to see out of Travis Fulgham. And, I mean, the guy I did a buy the numbers piece on him last year when he was in his 5-game stretch at the bye week. He was like one of the top 3, top 4 receivers in football based on all the numbers.
For that 4-week stretch, he was unbelievable.
He can't be this bad. And look, I know we've seen this before with the Eagles. I mean, Reggie Brown looked really good at one point. Christy Jones looked like he was going to be a superstar wide receiver in 1997. That just never, ever happened. So maybe that's the same thing with Travis Fulgham, but I'm not really ready to give up on this kid yet. I think he can be something in here. I think he can be kind of an Alshon Jeffrey, a possession receiver. I think he can be a really good red zone threat for this football team. And there's going to be competition here. Maybe he'll be better off if you add Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. Maybe you trade up and get Jamar Chase. Who knows? But
my last quick question. I want to get this in. Which of Waddle or Smith complements Reagor best?
Oh man, I would probably go Jalen Waddle because I think you can use Reagor underneath, and you can use Waddle in that Tyreek Hill role. He can be that deep threat for you. Instead of making Jalen Reagor the deep threat, let's make Jalen Reagor the underneath, the slot receiver guy. The guy who can catch passes and get a lot of yards after the catch. And I think that's where Jalen Waddle really bet. I mean, the guy I think would have been perfect is Jamar Chase. But if you had to go between Smith or Waddle, I'm going Waddle.
All right, there we go. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, at Jeff Kerr, CBS. He'll be back on Wednesday. More NFL conversation, getting you ready for the draft, the offseason, and, of course, all things NFL here on the Sports Best. All right, Jeff, good stuff, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. 10 more days, my friend.
I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. I love talking draft, and when it's here, I'm going to be sad when it's gone.
Yeah, same here.
All right, man. I'll talk to you Wednesday. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline.